It's a brand new day with Mo and News. It's time to have your say. She's got the scoop, the stories, all the latest trends. Mo's got the news, let's hear it. My dear friends, from politics to showbiz, no story's too small. Mo covers it all. She's got the inside call, her voice so smooth, like honey in the summer sun. With Mo on the mic, you know the news is always fun. Mornings with Mo, the best newsy news in the world. With her style so classic and her stories unfurled, from morning till night, she's got us in the know. Turn on your radio, let Mo's newsy news flow.
Hello, everyone. I sort of have my voice back. It is the 10th of June, which means, oh my goodness, this year is just going crazy. And let me see, I did have a question. What is newsy news? Well, newsy news is kind of the news that you won't get on CNN, MSN, all the mainstream stuff. It doesn't have that crazy political lean. I mean, I have my beliefs, but I don't tell you what to think. And just odd news. If I find it interesting, that's what newsy news is. So it's a bit of a catch-all phrase for, you know, news you won't find on places elsewhere, and it's the news you never knew you always needed. Whatever that means, I'm sure that past Mo will come to me with a fig Newton of imagination as to where I came up with that, but it was just a jokey sort of term for the news I like and the stuff I don't. Oh, Tammy, I am so glad that you got results. I know that, all of this physical therapy and things like that are really, very, very trying, but hopefully it's news that they understand and can help you with because that's always fun. Wolfram, thank you so much for being a great mod. Jeffrey, thank you for the magnanimous morning. Fraudit, good morning. Squab Bob, I am deeply, deeply deep, but also deeply unserious, so I don't know if that's a thing. Welcome, Siri or Cree. I don't know if that's your name. I am terrible with names. I graduated before Hooked on Phonics and No Child Left Behind. So we're doing what we can with a rural education out here. Slinky, good morning. Jess Rubery, good morning. Tammy and Squid Pro Quo, good morning. Tamra, good morning. Celestial Force, good morning. And Jason J., thank you for being a member for 3 months. We like everyone in the Church of Mo and everything else. And Tamra, yes, well, it's more for, since Mr. Mo is a retired veteran with some disability ratings, you know, we just, no, the blue people, Siri, are people that are moderators. The green are people that are members. And, but I love you all, my children. We have a bunch of news, a bunch of craziness, and, all of the things going on today, plus Karen Reed, and I think oh gosh, the tonsil twins stuff is going on today. So we have all the things. Let's not. Uh, so we have some more Madeline McCann news back in like cases from the past that seem to have right now become the present. Let's see what's going on with Madeline McCain. Now, I will tell you guys that when I was first getting into true crime and sort of law tube and everything, I deep dived into the Madeline McCann stuff. And oh my goodness, do I think the parents did it? Possibly, yes. I do believe so, but, I'm willing to be led to where the evidence is. I'm just not sure that we're ever going to get the answers. It's only been, what, 30 years since John Benet Ramsey, and we still don't know anything about that. But we do have some new movement. The German FBI has found an email account linking Christian Bruckner to the unaliving or the missing Brit Madeleine McCann, according to the latest news during the convicted rapist's trial in Germany. The German FBI claimed that they were unable to discuss a particular email account as it related to the killing of Madeleine, who went missing in Praia da Luz, age 3, back in 2007. Detective Titus Stampa confirmed that he had found 2 email accounts connected to the man who is currently on trial for grape and SA. The other email account included photos of absolute grossness, but all of the emails for that first half of 2007, around the time that Maddie had gone missing, had been deleted. They also uncovered a hard drive, which Detective Stampa claimed was linked to Madeleine's death. He said, quote, "An external hard drive, it is also belonging to the killing case, and I'm not allowed to talk about it." So this is the person that they are alleging might have had a link to Madeleine McCann. Now, I do believe that he is accused of many gross and disgusting, trash water human being stuff in Germany. Now, why they aren't cooperating with the other people, in other cases he might be linked to, I don't know, but I am not a genius level at inter-European criminal conversations and how that information, moves through channels. I don't know Interpol, though, oh my gosh. Could I just look at all the files that they don't wanna show us? I mean, I totally would obviously tell all of you, but not everyone else. Good morning, Christine. Yeah, Jason, I I am a little skeptical, again, if they have this bombshell information, why it is not being shared with other, um, investigators, but I do know that it's a big trope in, like, true crime, Law& and Order SVU kinda things that federal agencies and local cops tend to have a little professional friction. So, that could be a factor, or they have diddly jack crud, but they want to be, seen to be doing something. Madeleine McCann, sorry, disappeared from her hotel room in 2007 while on holiday with her parents, Katie and Jerry, and twin siblings, Sean and Amelia. She was just 3 at the time. Now, I generally don't like to parent shame, but leaving 3 very young children alone when you are far away, none of them can work. I guess, to me, if it were me in that position, I would tell my husband, "You guys go out for dinner, we'll rotate. I want someone there with my kiddos." I would not be able to relax. Now, some parents can do that, they are different, but I just would not be able to because my youngest 3 children were feral boys, and the amount of chaos that would occur, would be shenanigans level. Bruckner was named as the German authorities' prime suspect in Madeleine's disappearance back in 2022. He had been living in Praia de Luz at the time she went missing, and a friend testified that he admitted to him he had kidnapped the youngster. His camper van was also reportedly spotted near the area at the time. Um, at the time, Jerry and Kate McCann released a statement about the update, writing, "We welcome the news that Portuguese authorities have declared a German man an arguado." And I probably mispronounced that, but that is just Portuguese for suspect. And again, to all of my Portuguese listeners, I could be really, really wrong in how I pronounce that. In relation to the disappearance of our beloved daughter, Madeline, this reflects on progress in the investigation being conducted by the Portuguese, German, and British authorities. We were kept informed, we are kept informed of developments by the Metropolitan Police. Um, yeah, and look, this is not I would never want a family to lose their children. I can't imagine the pain they've been through, but I also feel like this just is the most asinine thing I've ever heard to leave a 3-year-old in charge of 2 18-month-old twins and be, 200 yards away from them without a baby monitor or anything, and you just send someone up, like, every 30 minutes. Again, maybe I am just a hover parent, but I could not see myself being comfortable with that. Thank you so much, Christine, for being a member for 6 months. You all, Christine does have her own channel, and I think she interviewed MLS a couple weeks ago, and she is working on some things for the Treehouse trial. It's important to note that the Arguardo has not been charged in any specific crime related to Madeline's disappearance, even though the possibility may be slim. We haven't given up hope that Madeline is still alive and we will be reunited with her. Since naming him as a suspect, German authorities have searched nearby reservoirs thoroughly, which Bruckner was known to visit often, calling it his own little paradise. Bruckner's former friend, Helgi Busching, was also among those who testified against him in court, claiming he had contacted the police about his suspicions that Bruckner might have been involved in Madeline's disappearance in 2017 and that he had some gross footage of grossness uh, in his home. Uh, Absolutely not. No organized religion would ever ordain me. Possibly not even the Pastafarians. He said, "I didn't send them anonymously to the police in Portugal because I did not trust the Portuguese police. They would have thrown them away. They would not have known what to do with this, and they would have thrown them away." Now, that's a pretty interesting statement for this gentleman to say that he was worried that Portuguese police have had blinders on and they wouldn't have, taken this information. He also claimed that Bruckner told him that Maddie didn't cry when I took her. He told a German newspaper, Bild, in 2023, I called Scotland Yard back in 2008. At the Maddie hotline, I said I knew someone who might have something to do with it and gave the name. But nothing happened there, nothing, and I was never called back. So this looks like a lot of finger pointing. I don't know. I am 15% sure that we are just never gonna get the answer to this, but I I would like to be hopeful. In sad news, and I really, um, absolutely fell in love with this father, during a lot of the true crime sort of documentaries that I watch, but, unfortunately, almost too unbelievable to be true, father of victim in the catfish murder plot dies on a motorcycle ride meant to commemorate her. This father was an absolute hero advocate for his daughter. This case was from Alaska. This young lady had developmental disabilities. She was very trusting, and her friend group basically unalived her for S's and giggles, pretty much, but also because one of the main, I guess, masterminds was told by a, internet billionaire that he would pay for a snuff film. The absolute insanity of this case, I do wanna cover one day, but, I'll need to find time. It's always time that I seem to lack. Timothy Hoffman, the father of murder victim Cynthia C.C. Hoffman, died last Sunday in a tragic motorcycle crash during an annual ride intended to commemorate his daughter. It was 5 years since her death. Quote, investigation revealed Timothy Hoffman Sr., aged 58 of Anchorage, was riding with a passenger and lost control of his motorcycle as he was northbound passing S. Rainbow Street, leaving the left shoulder of the road and rolling into the center median. Alaska State Troopers said in a statement, Timothy was not wearing a helmet. His passenger was wearing a full face helmet. That passenger was his wife, Barbara Jeannie Hoffman, family said in a report from Anchorage Daily News. Her brother in law, Robert Hoffman, reportedly said she had begun to find closure with her daughter's death, and that was one of the reasons why she joined her husband on his bike that Sunday. Troopers said that both the driver and passenger were unresponsive at the scene and were moved to the hospital having suffered life threatening injuries. Hoffman was pronounced dead at the hospital. Jeannie Hoffman sustained skull fractures, a broken back, and other broken bones, even with the helmet. Robert Hoffman's fiancee, uh, Tanya Chasen, reportedly said, okay, that must be the sons, I'm hoping, because I don't know how you have a wife and a fiance, but I have seen Alaska bush people. And I hope that I hope to goodness that this father is reunited with his daughter because I have to set up my Discord this week. It's on my list of gajillions of things to do, but this case would definitely be one to look at because this father was just an absolute beast when it came to wanting justice for his daughter. I am deeply saddened by the sudden passing of Tim Hoffman on the 5th anniversary of Cynthia Hoffman's murder. Patrick McKay, a lead prosecutor on some of the cases connected to the murder, reportedly said, it seems almost too unbelievable to be true. As previously reported, an array of people were charged with killing Hoffman, who was developmentally disabled. This included the victim's quote unquote best friend, Denali Dakota Sky Bremer, co defendant Darren Schillmiller, who was not at the scene of the June 2nd, 2019 murder near Thunderbird Falls on the banks of the Yakultna River, but he was charged as the mastermind, posing online as a man named Tyler. He offered Bremer $9 million to kidnap and unalive one of her friends. In actuality, however, Tyler, hold your shock, was a broke, unemployed Indiana resident living with his grandparents in their basement. You cannot make this crap up. Bremer was sentenced to 99 years in Alaska State Court for the murder and 30 years in federal court for conspiracy to make child grossness material at Schillmiller's behest. Schillmiller was sentenced to 99 years for the murder with the possibility of parole after 45. He has yet to be sentenced for the aforementioned abuse material case, which is going to have a hearing on August the 7th. Caleb Leland and Caden McIntosh have pled guilty to the murder in second degree in connection with the incident. So basically, they took this lovely young girl who was just looking for friends. Her friends Denali basically invites her out to the waterfall, unalives her. It is filmed. It's just a tragedy all around, all on the behest of this, wannabe millionaire who claimed that he was going to pay for a legitimate snuff film. I mean, the amount of what in the rapture that is going on in this case is just ridiculous. And if you're going to a rodeo, maybe don't wear red. Rodeo Bull party bus escapes Oregon Arena and tosses a woman in red as the crowd runs for their lives. I mean, it'll be the best damn hamburger she ever ate if she eats. Joking. An out of control rodeo bull leapt out of an Oregon arena and charged toward a crowd of spectators Saturday, violently tossing and stampeding a woman who was in his path. Chaotic video shows the escaped animal charging at the woman who was wearing a red shirt as it tore through the 84th Sisters Rodeo. The bull named Party Bus. So, is this his first rodeo or his second? I'm a terrible person. Welcome to purgatory with me. Uh, Flipped the woman so that she landed squarely on his head before the frantic animal spun her a second time off his horns. She fell to the ground under the bull's feet as it broke through a table and fled to the parking lot. Footage showed. The bull's desperate attempt at freedom was short-lived, and Party Bus was captured by rodeo pickup men next to the livestock holding pens. The Sisters Rodeo, not radio, Association said 3 people were injured as a direct result of the bull, 2 of whom were transferred to a local hospital. The association said in a statement, but they were all released the next day. A deputy who also sustained mild injuries while reporting to the wild escape did not say whether it was caused by Party Bus, police told KTVZ. The incident happened shortly before 10 p.m. during the last run of the 84th Sisters Rodeo, a popular event that draws many of the nation's top cowboys and thousands of spectators. A second video shows the unsuspected crowd singing along to Lee Greenwood's God Bless America as Party Bus ran loops around the arena trying to avoid a pair of men riding horseback. I mean, it's a great song. That's a no for me, y'all. Here I was gonna be like, maybe I'll join a rodeo, maybe my kids will go 4-H, and now I'm like, "No. I already have deer that don't like me, let's not add bulls to that." Uh, we uh, Party Bus was removed from the arena after the incident. I mean, we obviously can't replicate that scenario. Leslie Lang, who provides livestock, including Party Bus for the rodeo. No, I don't know why anyone would want to run with the bulls. I mean, that might be the only way you're going to find me running, other than like cocaine bear or zombie horde. But good idea. We're going to take him home, buck him again, and do some training with him and never try to put him in that situation again. I think he should just retire gracefully. I mean, come on, he's Party Bus. Nothing parties like a rental, but they need to be put to pasture pretty quick. A Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association said Saturday that the incident is a reminder that while rodeo is a highly entertaining sport, on rare occasions it can also pose some risk. Please, we send our thoughts and well wishes to those who are injured and or otherwise impacted by this frightening and very rare incident. I am waiting for the monster truck, you know, Truckosaurus to break the barriers and go on a heyday. I have no idea, but I would assume not eating a Big Mac in front of him. That's my only guess, and not look him directly in the eyes. In other animal shenanigans, I'm probably not gonna go to Indonesia now either. A python swallows a woman whole in Indonesia. A missing woman was found eaten alive by a massive python after locals cut her body out of the snake in Indonesia. Farida, 45, who went missing on Thursday night, her body was then discovered inside a reticulated python Friday by her husband and residents of the Kampeng village in South Sulawesi province, according to a local official. The search for the missing mother of 4 began when she failed to return home Thursday night, village chief Uh, Savardi Rossi told the AFP. Her husband found her belongings, which made him suspicious. The villagers then searched the area and they soon spotted a python with a large belly. Um, yeah, no, this sounds terrible. The missing woman was found fully clothed inside the massive snake, which was reported to be at least 16 feet long. Did we not learn the best? Did we not learn from Anaconda, the only Jennifer Lopez movie that was actually pretty good? Oh my gosh. I I would pay to see that. Her husband, identified as Nani, expressed regret that he let his wife go out on her own. "If I had been with her that day, the snake would not have dared to touch her," he said, according to the viral press. "I feel sorry for the suffering she went through, and I'm sorry for our family," he said. Such incidents are incredibly rare but not unheard of in Indonesia. Last year, residents of southeast Sulawesi's Tayaniga district killed a monster 26-foot long python, which was found strangling and eating a local farmer. In 2018, a 54-year-old woman was found dead inside a 23-foot long snake in southwest Muna town. And the previous year, a farmer also disappeared and was later found being eaten alive by a 13-foot python in a palm oil plantation. The reticulated python is considered the world's longest snake and is indigenous to Indonesia, the Philippines, India, and Borneo. The longest reticulated python ever discovered was 32 feet in length and weighed an incredible 350 pounds, according to Reptiles magazine. Its natural diet is apparently farmers. I did like that one too, but that's because it had Ray Fiennes in it. Made to order, I think. I think we need to send the Florida snake hunters to Indonesia. I'm just throwing it out there. TLC, you have a new reality show. Rodents, but larger snakes have been known to eat pigs, civets, bear cats, and even primates. Federal law prohibits reticulated pythons from being imported into the U.S., except with a permit for zoological, educational, medicinal, or scientific purposes. Some reptile enthusiasts may breed them as pets, but they require a lot of space due to their size and should only be cared for by dedicated and prepared keepers, according to Reptile Supply. Y'all know there are like a gajillion of those in Texas. Come on. There's more tigers in Texas how than I think in nature where they're normally found. But now I think we have all learned from Home Alone that you should never give yourself bandit names, but some of us just haven't learned. Members of the Chesapeake Bandit group received their fate after a brazen robbery of an armored truck that netted them more than 165K in cash. I mean, it's better than the sticky bandits, but I think they are learning a lot about venom and maybe body systems in snakes that might help with medicine. I don't know. I don't know. I am not a doctorologist, nor am I a reptilologist because, look, I like fluffy critters. I know there are people that like lizards and stuff, and y'all can keep them. I'll keep the fluffy critters that, that snakes would think of as bait. The getaway driver of the so-called Chesapeake Bandits bank robbers was sentenced to nearly 14 years in prison after admitting to taking part in violent and organized robberies of armored truck drivers in Los Angeles. Chesapeake's in Virginia, though. Okay. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, James Russell Davis, 35, pled guilty in February to one count each of interference with commerce by robbery, the Hobbs Act, and discharging a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence, United States District Judge Fernando L. Aniche Rocha on Friday sentenced Davis to 166 months in federal prison, which comes out to just under 14 years, and ordered him to pay over $165,000 in restitution. The robbery in question occurred on February 14th, Valentine's Day. Look, y'all, they were just trying to buy the chocolate before it went on clearance. Y'all know the real day to celebrate is the day after Valentine's Day when all candy is on clearance. Bald kittens are cute in a weird way, so they count. Uh, At the Westcom Credit Union located in the city of Hawthorne, California, Davis and his co-conspirators had tracked the armored truck's movements 3 weeks prior, a criminal complaint says. On the day of the robbery, Davis acted as the getaway driver and the lookout. After driving up to the bank, 38-year-old Denavius Jane Hobson and another man armed with rifles ran out of the car and ambushed the armored truck driver who was putting money into the ATM. One of the men forced the driver to the ground at gunpoint and pressed the, long boomstick to his head and took his service pistol, prosecutors said. The suspects then took bags of cash and customer checks within the machine. They got away with about $165,000, according to prosecutors. The suspect also fired their rifle but did not hit anyone. Imagine the terror of being pulled to the ground with a gun pointed at your head. Davis and his accomplices violently ambushed an individual just doing his job so they could make off with other people's money. I mean, at least politicians do it with someone else's force multipliers and your money. Ching. Just kidding there. And welcome, Kaiser Pineapple and Shizzy Raiders and Welsh Lady Reeds. Now, Christy Hawkins, acting assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office, and remember that the FBI is generally in charge of all bank robberies because of banks being federally insured, said in a statement, "This significant sentence can't undo the emotional and psychological damage inflicted on the victim, but we hope it sends a clear message that we will continue to pursue the most violent and persistent offenders and hold them accountable for their blatant disregard for human life and the safety of our communities." Then on June 9th, 2022, the Chesapeake bandits allegedly struck again, less than a mile away from their first heist. Although Davis' plea only dealt with the first robbery, this time they robbed an armored car driver at the Bank of America branch in Inglewood, California, the affidavit said. They reportedly took off with more than $90,000. A vehicle matching Davis's was seen in the area within 30 minutes of the robbery, prosecutors said. Hobson Davis and a co-defender allegedly performed their biggest bank heist on September 15th, 2022, during a robbery of a Brinks armored truck driver at PLS Cash Checkers in La Brea. The suspects got away with a staggering $375,000, prosecutors say. Again, surveillance video captures Davis's vehicle in the area at the time of the robbery. So you might suspect that this man has maybe more charges ahead. I don't know that he's going to squeak out with this 14. Their final robbery of an armored truck driver allegedly occurred on January 9th, 2023 at the 99-cent only store in Los Angeles, California. It doesn't say how much the bandits got away with, but in the three, they allegedly stole more than $630,000. In addition, the same MO and getaway car, FBI agents also noted that some of the robbers have distinctive star tattoos, while another wore the same shoes. Agents arrested Davis and Hobson in March 2023, and they've been in custody ever since. Hobson, the reported mastermind, is still awaiting trial. The nickname Chesapeake Bandits came from the fact that both Davis and Hobson lived at a home on Chesapeake Avenue. Okay, chicklets. If you're going to start like a robbery crew, probably not. Probably not put like, I live on South Street, so we're gonna be the South Street Bandits. I mean, look, I don't want people who rob to get a leg up, but we don't we don't write our crimes, we don't Instagram our crimes, we don't video our crimes, and we don't make our gang name the street we live on currently. When people commit crimes with guns, tragedies happen, said United States Attorney Martin Estrada. This is why it's so important that we bring the weight of federal prosecution against the perpetrators of gun violence. I mean, it's almost like, call me crazy, but don't do that. Now, as you all know, I'm a big John Hughes fan, and oh my goodness, I couldn't see this headline and not say something all about it, because we stand Ducky here. We stand Ducky here. Uh, the chick from Pretty in Pink should have, stuck with Ducky, the best, friend slash boyfriend ever. But it turns out that there is a whole lot of pettiness in the John Cryer, Andrew McCarthy feud. I mean, I didn't know it was a thing, but we stand John Cryer. Ducky is our friend. No. Uh, there wasn't a whole lot of prettiness, but there was pettiness behind the scenes on one of the famous movies filmed during the prominent Brat Pack era. John Cryer, who starred in the 1986 film Pretty in Pink, revealed that he and co-star Andrew McCarthy did not get along. Ducky is bald now? Eh, I guess it happens to the best of us. Did not get along off camera. McCarthy has assembled several members of the group, including Cryer, to appear in his upcoming documentary, Brats, which examines the significance of the Brat Pack. McCarthy, along with several other budding actors in the 1980s, like Cryer, Demi Moore, and Rob Lowe, were dubbed the Brat Pack, a group of young actors who frequently collaborated in films like The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. When we'd done Pretty in Pink together, we did not get along because he was a dick, Cryer said of McCarthy during a question and answer session in the Tribeca Film Festival. Oh my goodness. I love it. John Cryer bringing the news. As reported by People magazine, and McCarthy admitted, it was a bit of the truth. The two men both yearned for Molly Ringwald's character, Andy, in the flick. Well, I didn't think he was a dick, Demi Moore, who starred in No Small Affair with Cryer and St. Elmo's Fire with McCarthy. Uh, well, he wasn't a dick to you, Cryer retorted. He was as much of a dick as Andy Dick. The men rectified or did not rectify their relationship in 2012 when they spoke in the green room of The View. Well, I hope whatever terrible hostage situation you were in that you had to be in a greenwood with or in a green room with The View as your punishment. I hope you've both atoned, and I'm glad you made friends and you didn't have to get a get-along jacket or shirt like the rest. But I'm sorry you had to go to The View. It was a lovely moment, Cryer said of their reunion, but it was lovely because it was like within a moment, it was just so clear that we were teenagers, and that does not in no way defines who we are now. It was just so lovely and immediately warm. Bratz premieres on Hulu on Thursday, June 13th. So if you would like to get all of your your 80s, nostalgia, get your Hulu a going. Where is S cliff divers in an art music. I can't see anything going wrong here, but my middle daughter does diving, and honest to goodness, I don't know where she gets coordination from because it's not from me. I am anti-coordinated. Rhiannon Ifland stepped onto the edge of a platform nearly 7 stories above Boston Harbor. Thousands of cheering fans packed onto docks, roofs, and sidewalks below and soared through the air with the city's skyline disappearing behind her as she rocketed toward the tea brown water. All in a day's work for one of the world's elite participants in cliff diving, a sport in which sometimes the precipice isn't even a cliff at all. Ifeland from Australia said the competition among cliff divers jumping from the Institute of Contemporary Art during a Saturday contest in Boston was fierce. I know the pressure is coming and young girls are diving super well, Ifland said after winning the women's section. Iflin's victory was part of a cliff diving marquee event, which came to the hub of New England as Red Bull Cliff Diving World Series made the 100th stop in its history. Participants plunged from up to 90 feet or 27 meters in the air from the waterfront art museum into the chilly harbor below. Hashtag hard pass. Look, God, gravity, and the universe and I have decided that my fluffy behind will not be jumping off of tall places into water because I no, just no. Instruction manual says will not be cliff diving, signed by me. British diver Aidan Helsop won the men's competition and said, "We all have our work cut out for us for the rest of the series." Boston is the only US stop this year. The series wraps up in Sydney, Australia in November. Cliff diving attracts a special kind of athlete, especially when winning means leaping from an art museum into potentially frigid waters below, organizers said. These epic athletes train super hard to make sure each leap, somersault, twist, and entry is perfect, organizers said in a statement. Practice and early competition rounds were held Friday. Judges scored Saturday's competitive first round based on the divers' form and technique. 24 people competed. It was the third straight year at the popular spectator event, and going to Boston, organizers said it drew 45,000 people for the weekend. The art museum said in a statement that the event was visually stunning and an opportunity for the public and a chance for the athletes to earn crucial championship points along the way based on their final event positions. Now, the funniest thing is apparently this face means that people think I know things. So I don't know things. So I'll be stuck at the diving event and I'll get another new parent and they're like, "Oh my gosh, do you know what she's doing?" And I'm like, I know it's not a triple Lutz, but maybe it's a sow cow. I have no idea. And yes, I know those are for skating, but that's the only basic sport that I really know a lot about because of ice castles. Robbie Benson, your voice, my heart. Anywho, if we want to bring someone back from the 80s, can we bring Robbie Benson and his voice back for me personally? Just asking for a friend. In other sports news, although somewhat sadly, the US Olympian Roy Rogers medals and trophies were stolen from his Texas storage unit. Who in the absolute needs to go, directly to timeout for stealing someone's daggone Olympic medals? I mean, just just awfulness, just terrible, awful human being. I can't with people. A track and field Olympian and former national record holders' medals and trophies were swiped from a public storage facility in Texas, and he's pleading for the thieves to return his prized possessions. Roy Robot Martin, 57, received or revealed that his legacy was stolen out of a Dallas public storage unit last month after the facility had already been dealing with a string of break ins, according to Fox 4 Dallas. They've been having some break ins. This time they hit my storage, they took everything, the superstar sprinter told the outlet. All of my clothing, all of my memorabilia, everything that I made history that I was going to give to my grandkids to let them enjoy, someone just took it. The robot storage unit was among 3 that were burglarized on the same day, according to the outlet. Y'all, this is how we get final form Jesus down here. I'm just saying, this is how this happens. We cannot deal with these shenanigans anymore. I don't know if we all just need a timeout or what, but stop taking things that aren't yours. This should be a basic kind of thing. The Texas native kept his awards and honors in the unit due to lack of space at his home. At the time, I lived around the corner, and I put my stuff in here. And where I moved to, it's just not enough room to keep everything, so I felt safe because it's inside a secured facility, Martin shared. The former Olympian said losing his belonging from his days of competing has left him shattered. Your stomach turns, your gut hurts, he told the outlet. And it's like, why me? I mean, what's the purpose of it? The police investigate who may have broken into his unit and others. As they do that, Martin pled for whoever stole his prized possessions to return them. It means the world to me. That's my legacy. That's my history. If I want to tell my story, it was that storage unit right there. Martin state made yeah. Martin started making waves in the track and field community in the mid 1980s when he attended Roosevelt High School in Dallas. He was a 3-time state champion and set the national record for the 200-meter sprint at the Track and Field Championships in Austin during his senior year. My senior year, I set the national record. I ran the 19.74 in the 200 meters that stood for 33 years until Noah Lyles broke it in 2014, Martin shared. And then my biggest accomplishment was when I made the Olympic team as a junior in high school, the only one in history that can say that. The track phenom narrowly missed his chance to run for the USA track and field team at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, finishing 4th in the 200-meter race during the trials. Martin was named Track and Field News High School Athlete of the Year in 1984 and 1985, making him the first male athlete to win the award twice. He later enrolled at Southwestern Methodist University, where he helped his team win the 1986 NCAA Track and Field Championship, running a 43.5-second relay carry that secured the Mustangs a dramatic victory. Now, mine would be, 137. Look, I'll finish that mile one day. Just kidding. Uh, He made his Olympics debut in 1988 in Seoul, South Korea, finished 6th at the 200-meter dash semifinals. He retired from sprinting after his first appearance in the Olympics. In 2013, he was inducted into the Texas Track and Field Hall of Fame, and in 2019, the Dallas Independent School District Athletic Hall of Fame. But now the history he earned and has cherished is gone. I earned all that. Everything I accomplished, I earned it. And that was my history. And now my history is gone. So I hope they find these jerk faced dingleberries who were taking everyone's stuff because, we all have things that are very important to us. And he wanted to give this legacy to his kids, his grandkids. passed this history down his family, and there's not really monetary value in what they stole, but it's very big sentimental value and, historical value, and those people need to go straight to Snake Island. Now, our final story is somewhat of a well, it was a headline I couldn't pass up. And y'all know me. If I'm gonna read it, y'all are gonna read it too. Post-surgery patient's colon falls out. Yes, that's OUT, out of his body following a forceful sneeze. Now, I didn't know this was a possibility, but this is terrifying. This bowel saving surgery is nothing to sneeze at. Surgeons have successfully placed part of a Florida's man colon back into his body after it fell out following a forceful sneeze. I didn't know this was a possibility, but now I'm not going to be sneezing anymore. The 63-year-old man was enjoying breakfast at a diner with his wife when the unusual incident occurred. His miraculous medical recovery is documented in a new article published by the American Journal of Medical Case Reports. You know, if you're my doctor and this happens to me, I'm just saying feel free not to mention me in any sort of journals. I would like to be mentioned for my, walking drive-by deer attack. I'm willing to do this, but if my colon should ever fall out because of a NACHU, I would rather not be mentioned, doctorologists among us. Prior to the incident, the man had battled prostate cancer and underwent abdominal surgery. He had stitches removed from his abdomen on the morning that his bowel evisceration took place. Like, I didn't know this was a possibility. I did not know. I mean, I think what they're saying is it's a prolapse, and a prolapse happens when internal things fall out. It happens to women who maybe have had a lot of children, their uterus can prolapse. There are a lot of things, but yeah, no, I'm okay with CRPS now. I'll I will never complain about having that versus, well, sneezing my colon out. He was at the diner with his wife to celebrate his clean bill of health. Dang it, sir. I'm sorry that you have become a well, a terrible use of irony, but oh my gosh, Alanis Morissette, we need ironic too with this being a lyric. And I hope he's okay, but oh my gosh. During breakfast, the man sneezed forcefully, followed by coughing, the journal explains. He immediately noticed a wet sensation and pain in his lower abdomen. Looking down, he observed several loops of pink bowel protruding from his recent surgical site. The man covered the exposed intestines with his shirt, and his wife called an ambulance. Paramedics who arrived at the scene noted that approximately 3-inch vertical laceration with a large amount of bowel was poking through it. Okay, so it didn't come out the bottom end, it came out of an incision. That makes a little more sense, but oh my goodness, sir, I hope you are feeling better. It sucks, the big one that you are finally thinking like, "I'm good, I'm feeling better," and you sneezed. It's always the sneeze. I'm very sorry, Welsh Lady Reads, and I'm not trying to giggle, but I'm a 12-year-old, so I'm so sorry that your hamster died. Let's see here. Thankfully, the Floridian reported little blood loss and he was rushed to a nearby medical facility. 3 urologic surgeons carefully reduced the eviscerated bowel back into the abdominal cavity. You would think that they say exposed instead of eviscerated because eviscerated uh, generally means like torn apart, exploded, but I guess it does. Who knows? and also inspected the full length of the small bowel and noted no evidence of injury. So I guess this was somewhat how that happened, and they managed to, stitch him back up. Hopefully, they closed the abdomen with a series of figure-8 stitches, one of the strongest type of closures, to make sure it didn't pop back out again. The lucky man was eventually weaned off of pain medication and placed back on a normal diet before being released from the hospital following a 6-day stay. While such incidents are incredibly rare, it is advised that paramedics be educated on how to treat an exposed bowel, with the journal's authors saying they should control visible bleeding, address gross contamination by rinsing the bowel with sterile saline or sterile water, and cover the exposed bowel with a moist, sterile dressing. I mean, that's very interesting. So, note if anything ever happens and your bowel ends up on the outside, the pro the professionals should know what to do with it now. But I'm glad this gentleman is okay, and y'all knew as soon as I saw the headline, this was the story. This is quintessential newsy news. This is the news that you're not gonna hear from the talking heads, but you will hear from a somewhat fake redhead, you know, with 12-year-old sense of humor. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this Monday Mornings with Mo. I am sending you guys off to Baker. I will probably be joining him in a little bit. Let's see here. You also have the Tonsil Twins with Megan Fox going on. So go wherever you want, and absolutely new fear unlocked. I already have anacondas and arachnophobia and K-pop fear. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all of my neuroses. I hope you have a wonderful day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. You know, the world is a crazy, crazy place, as Newsy News, shows, but we can all be a little nicer in our own little circles and, be careful where you sneeze. Have a lovely day, guys. I will see you tonight at 7 for Nightly Newsy News, where I will find more news of insanity, incredulousness, and awesomeness to bring to you guys. Bye.